Let's go ahead and start this test review. Our first question is solve a system by graphing. So here we have two linear equations that need to be graphed. So first things first, we want to get into slope-intercept form. So here's equation 1. So I'll go over here and I have negative 3x minus 2y equals negative 7. Once again, our goal is to get y by itself. So I need to add 3x to both sides. When that happens, those 3x's cancel. And now I have negative 2y equals a positive 3x minus 7. Still need to get y by itself, so I divide everything by negative 2. So now I have y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3.5. So my slope is negative 3/2, and my y-intercept is 3.5. Let's go to our second equation. We have 3x minus y equals 10. We want to isolate y, so we subtract 3x from both sides. We get negative y equals negative 3x plus 10. And now we have to divide everything by negative 1. So we get y equals negative 3x minus 10. Our slope is negative 3. Our y-intercept is negative 10. All right, so we have quite a few options here. Option 1 has an answer that crisscrosses at 3, negative 1. Option C is negative 1, positive 3. Option B is 1, 3, and option 4 is 3, 1. Now, first things first, let's see if these points match. It says that 3, negative 1 is where this crosses, and that's correct. This one says negative 1, positive 3. So automatically, it's saying it crisscrosses right here, but it's showing that. So process of elimination, we get rid of that. This one says 1, 3. Process of elimination. This one says 3, 1. So that one matches. So right now we already have a 50-50 shot between option A and option D. Now, let's be strategic on how we plot these. Our first one has a y-intercept of 3.5. So here's 3.5. So far, so good. And here's 3.5. Well, am I crossing 3.5 in option D? No. So I am left with option A as an answer. All right, let's go to question 2. Equation 1, we have negative 4x equals y plus 12. I want to isolate y, so I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. And when that happens, I get 4x minus 12 equals y. And I can rewrite that as y equals 4x minus 12. So here I have a slope of 4 and a y-intercept of negative 12. We have equation 2. 4x minus 4y equals 8. Our goal is to isolate y once again. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. I have negative 4y equals negative 4x plus 8. I'm going to divide both sides by -4. And then we get y equals positive x minus 2. So here I have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of -2. All right, let's go ahead and check to see that our parts are matching in each of our options. So first things first, this says -2, -4, so that matches. This one says -2, positive 4, so that matches. This one says 4, -2, which is down here, which has the crisscross point, so that's not going to work. And this one says -4, -2 as the crisscross point, which also is not going to work. So right now we're back down to a 50-50 shot between A and C, and we're going to be strategic again. This one has a y-intercept of -12. I can't really find that here, but this one has a y-intercept of -2. So let's see if we can find a y-intercept of -2. This one here and here. Only one of these has a y-intercept of -2, and in this case it is, once again, A. So you really want to make sure you're taking the time to get these in slope-intercept form and then using strategic knowledge and process of elimination to help get rid of some possibilities. All right, so now it says without graphing, is each system independent, dependent, or inconsistent? So independent says it crosses once. Dependent says it's the same line. AKA we're going to have parallel lines. And nope, sorry, same line. And inconsistent is parallel lines. All right, so to do that, we need to make sure we're getting each option into slope-intercept form. So let's get it into slope-intercept form. So problem 1, we have -x minus 5y equals 7. We want to isolate that y. So we're going to add x to both sides. We now have -5y equals x plus 7. Still need to make sure that y is by itself. So we're going to divide every single term by -5. And I get y equals -1/5 x minus 7/5. All right, let's go to equation 2. We have 4x minus y equals -7. Once again, our goal is to isolate y. So we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. And we now have -y equals -4x minus 7. Y still isn't by itself. We have to divide everything by -1. When that happens, I get positive y equals positive 4x plus 7. So the key here is to look at our slope. So here we have a slope of -1/5 and a slope of 4x, or 4. So if we have different slopes, that means it crosses one time. And if it is crossing one time, we are independent. So the answer is B. All right, let's do this again for question 4. Let's do that unread real quick though. All right, so we have equation 1. So we'll come over here. Equation 1 is 12x plus 3y equals 12. Once again, we have to isolate that y variable. So we're going to subtract 12 x from both sides. Because our goal is to get it into y equals mx plus b form. So now I have 3y equals negative 12x plus 12. Now we're going to divide everything by that 3 because once again, our goal is to isolate that y variable. So now I have y equals negative 4x plus 4. All right, let's do equation 2. Y equals negative 4x plus 5. It's already in slope-intercept form. We just need to look at our slopes. I have negative 4 and negative 4. All right, so we have same slope. Because we have same slope, it's either going to be dependent or independent. I mean, dependent or inconsistent, my apology. Both of those will have the same slope. Dependent says it has the same slope and same y-intercept, while parallel says we only have the same slope. So when we take a look, we have a y-intercept of 4 and a y-intercept of 5. Because we have different y-intercepts, we have parallel lines, which means we are inconsistent. So in this case, it's B again. All right, so now we're going to do the next two. We're going to solve by substitution. Now with substitution, remember, we want to get a variable all by itself. That is the easiest thing to do. So we have equation 1 and we have equation 2. I don't care which variable you get by itself. I always look for the easiest. Well, both of these have negative y's. So I'm just going to use equation 1 and get y all by itself. So I have negative 2x minus y equals negative 14. To get y by itself, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. I now have negative y equals 2x minus 14, but y still isn't by itself. I still have to divide every single term by negative 1. So now I get y equals negative 2x plus 14. I'm going to take this information right here that I know what y equals, and I'm going to put it into equation 2. Equation 2 says 3x minus y equals 11. But I know that y equals negative 2x plus 14. So we go 3x minus negative 2x plus 14 equals 11. Now I have to do my math. I have to distribute that negative. I get 3x plus 2x minus 14 equals 11. Combine like terms, I get 5x minus 14 equals 11. So now I need to get x all by itself, so I'm going to add 14 to both sides. I get 5x equals 25. X is almost all by itself. Divide both sides by 5. We get x equals 5. Now let's go through our options A, B, C, and D. Which one of those has x equal to 5? Remember, we are in ordered pairs, so it always goes x, comma, y. So our first number would have to be 5. So looking at option A says x is negative 4, not option A. Option B says x is 5. That works. Option C says x is negative 5. Nope. And option D says x is 4. So no. Alrighty, we have an answer of B. And that's process of elimination. We just went through and said, hey, Are we able to eliminate any of our possibilities? We're going to do this again for question 6. We're going to get a variable all by itself. Notice that this y has a leading coefficient of -1, so I'm actually going to get equation 2 by itself this time. So I'm going to go over here, I'll make a little squiggly, so I keep my work separated. And equation 2, I have 2x minus y equals 5. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. When that happens, I have negative y equals negative 2x plus 5. Almost done. Got to get y all by itself. So divide everything by -1. And I get y equals a positive 2x minus 5. I'm going to take that piece of information and I'm going to put it in to equation 1. Equation 1 said 4x minus 5y equals 7, but I now know what y equals. So 4x minus 5 times 2x minus 5 equals 7. Goal is to get x by itself now, so I need to distribute this -5. So you get 4x minus 10x plus 25 equals 7. Combine like terms, I get negative 6x plus 25 equals 7. I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides because our goal is to get x by itself. Negative 6x now equals negative 18. Last step is divide each side by that -6. And we get x equals positive 3. Now let's go through process of elimination. Ordered pairs, x comes first. Here in option A, x equals 1. Not going to work. Option B, x equals -1. Not going to work. Option C, x equals -3. Not going to work. Option D, x equals 3. So that is our answer. All right, so now we've gone through the first 6 problems. Now let's do 7 and 8, which is solving the system using elimination. Our goal here is to see if we have anything that we can cancel out automatically. So here we have opposites. Notice we have a positive 4y and a negative 4y. Because those are already opposite, half of our work is done. So we're going to go over to the side and we're going to work this out. We have negative 4x plus 4y equals -8. And then we have x minus 4y equals -7. Because we already have the opposites, we're just going to add straight across, which means negative 4x plus x gets me negative 3x. 4y minus 4y crosses out, and I have -8 minus 7 is -15. We're going to divide everything by -3. And when that happens, we get x equals positive 5. Once again, use that process of elimination. We know in ordered pairs, it goes x first, then y. So our x is 5. In option A, x is 3. Not going to work. Option B, x is 5. So that could be a possibility. Option C, x equals -3. Not going to work. Option D, x equals -5. Not going to work. So we only had to do half the problem once again because we used that process of elimination and got rid of some answers. Now, for problem 8, it's a little bit more complicated because we don't already have opposites. So what we're going to do is we have to make opposites. And when we do that, we want to look for things that already have an opposite sign. So our y's already have opposite signs. Because of that, we're going to rewrite our equation over here. We have 7x plus 2y equals 11. Over here, we have 4x minus 7y equals -10. because these y's are already opposite, we're going to look at this 7 right here, and we're going to multiply the top by 7. And then we're going to look at this 2, and we're going to multiply the bottom by 2. So I'm going to choose a different color. Bottom by 2. What ends up happening is now we have 49x plus 14y equals positive 77. And then 2 times 4x is 8x minus 14y equals negative 20. We have now made opposites, which makes this a substitution or elimination problem. Once again, these will cross out, and we're going to add shit across. So now 49 plus 8 is 57x equals 57. Huh, well that's pretty nifty. Divide both sides by 57, and we get x equals 1. So can we use that process of elimination? We can, and the only option that has x equals 1 is D. Okay, going on to questions 9 and 10. These are our systems of inequalities. So first things first, we have equation 1 and equation 2. So let's get some nice colors here. Equation 1 we'll do in blue. Equation 2, let's do in this purpley color. Now, notice these are already only show the overlapping region. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult. My suggestion is on a separate piece of paper or on your whiteboard table, go ahead and plot this yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use grid A to do all my work on. So in option 1, we have a slope of negative 3 over 1, which is down 3, right 1, with a y-intercept of negative 1. We are less than or equal, so we are a solid line. So I'm going to go to my y-intercept at negative 1, which is right here. I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1, go up here, 1, 2, 3, over 1, 1, 2, 3, over 1, and I'm going to make my solid line. Now I'm going to do my test point. At 0, 0. So 0 less than negative 3 times 0 minus 1 is 0 less than or equal to negative 1. That is false. So we shade opposite of 0, 0. So 0, 0 is right here. We're shading this below region. Okay, now let's do inequality number 2. We have slope is positive 3 over 1, which is up 3, right 1. And our y-intercept equals negative 2. We are greater than it, so we are a dotted line. We are a dotted line. All right, so now let's go to negative 2. Up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, and now we have a dash. And now we have to do the test point. At 0, 0. So we have 0 greater than 3 times 0 minus 2 is 0 greater than negative 2. It is true. So we shade same side as 0, 0. So here's my 0, 0, which means I'm shading this side to the left of it. Oops. Shade the same side. So at this point, we have to find the region that looks the closest to this green. Well, we know it's not option A because option A had this area. Option B or option C has this area, so it's not option C. So now we're between options B and D. Notice the crossing happens at down below the y-axis or the x-axis, not above it. So this one has a point at above the x-axis and this one has below. So because ours is below the x-axis, the answer is D. All right, one more question. We're going to do it the same way. We have inequality 1 and inequality 2. I highly suggest that you do this on a separate sheet of paper on your whiteboard table so you're not making the mistakes. All right, inequality 1. We have a slope of negative 3 over 1, which is down 3, right 1. We have a y-intercept of negative 1, and because we are greater than or equal to, we have a solid line. Once again, I'm just going to use my grid A to show my work. So here's my negative 1. Down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. And I'm going to do my solid line. Now we do our test point. At 0, 0. So is 0 greater than negative 3 times 0 minus 1 is 0 greater than or equal to negative 1. That is true. So shade the same side as 0, 0, which means we're shading to the right. So we're all on this side. All right, inequality number 2. We have slope of 1/2, which is up 1, right 2. We have a y-intercept of positive 1. Because we are less than or equal to, we are solid. So I'm going to go to positive 1. Then I'm going to go up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, and all the way down. We have a solid. Perfect. Now we do our test point. at 0, 0. So is 0 less than or equal to 1/2 times 0 plus 1 is 0 less than or equal to 1? It is true. So shade on the same side as 0, 0. Here's my 0, 0, so I'm shading below. Oops. And now we have to look for that overlapping region, which in this case just happens to be option A. All right, so that is the test review. I went over every single question on the test review. If you have questions, please feel free to email me.